The night has the power to transform what we know. Familiar streets become strange passages, and every shadow seems to stretch beyond what is natural. Now, imagine being alone, driving your car along a deserted road. No headlights ahead, no lights behind, only the constant sound of tires on asphalt and the feeling that something, somewhere is watching you. Roads have memories. Memories of accidents, of unexpected encounters, of secrets buried beneath the concrete. Some carry stories so intense that locals in nearby regions swear that, after hearing certain accounts, no one dares to travel them after sunset. Today, you will hear about 3 of these roads. 3 accounts based on real facts and testimonies, narrated with every detail, so you can feel each curve, each distant headlight, each moment of tension protagonists live through. By the end of this video, you may never look at a nighttime road the same way again. And if driving alone at night still seems like something normal, be careful, because a road you take every day may hide more stories than you imagine. Now, fasten your seatbelt, keep your eyes sharp, and follow me. Our first stop begins in a place where hitchhiking could be the last mistake someone ever made. BR 364 is one of the longest highways in Brazil, crossing states and landscapes ranging from open fields to stretches of dense forest. During the day, it's just another busy road with heavy trucks and buses crisscrossing the country. But at night, its silence feels different. The wind seems colder. The car's headlights never shine far enough, and every curve carries a sense of absolute isolation. Among veteran drivers, there is a specific stretch in the countryside of Rondônia that is avoided whenever possible. Not because of robberies, dangerous curves, or potholes, but because of a story that is repeated for decades, that of a woman who appears asking for a ride. It was on a rainy April night that Osmar, a truck driver with over 20 years on the road, had his encounter with this figure. He had loaded his truck in Porto Velho and was heading to Cuiabá. The sky was completely covered, and rain fell in bursts, alternating between light drizzle and heavier showers. The windshield wipers worked non-stop, and the cab smelled of strong coffee kept in a thermos on the shelf next to the seat. Around 2 in the morning, as he passed through a stretch known as Cova do Jacaranda Curve, Osmar saw something unusual at the roadside. A woman standing there in a light-colored dress, her long hair plastered down by the rain. She had her arm out, asking for a ride. Osmar hesitated for a few seconds, but slowed down. On the road, he knew that leaving someone behind in a dangerous situation could weigh on your conscience for the rest of your life. He pulled over and opened the passenger door. "Good evening, or rather, early morning," he said, trying to sound friendly. She got in without a word. She just stared straight ahead, eyes fixed on the road. Her dress was soaked, and she seemed cold, but she wasn't shivering. Osmar offered her a dry cloth to wipe herself off, but she didn't react. "Where are you headed?" he asked, trying to make conversation. "Just go," she replied in a low voice, almost drowned out by the sound of rain. The trip went on in silence. Osmar noticed that whenever he tried to look at her face, she would avert her gaze. The only moment she seemed interested in anything was when they crossed a small bridge, where she clasped her hands in her lap and took a deep breath, as if trying to calm herself. After several kilometers, Osmar glanced quickly at the seat beside him, and she was gone. His heart raced. The truck was still moving straight ahead, without having stopped. He pulled over abruptly, got out of the cab, and shone his flashlight inside. Nothing, only the folded dry cloth and a wet handkerchief on the seat. Confused and frightened, he picked up the handkerchief. It was cold, as if it had just been taken out of the rain. Osmar continued on, trying to rationalize what had happened, but he could no longer focus. 2 days later, while resting at a gas station, he shared the story with another trucker. The man just shook his head and asked, "Was the handkerchief white with blue edges?" It was, "Why?" "Because I've seen that handkerchief before. It belonged to a farmer's daughter from the area. She died in an accident at Jacaranda Curve more than 10 years ago. They say that on rainy nights, she still tries to go home." Osmar never again drove that stretch during the early morning. He kept the handkerchief in a wooden box at home, but whenever he tried to open it, he felt such an intense chill that he stopped. Over time, he left it untouched completely. Stories like Osmar's appear year after year. Some say the woman talks more, asking about the driver's destination. Others claim she disappears when crossing the bridge, as if that were the exact spot where her life ended. New drivers often laugh at such tales, until on a rainy night, they find themselves alone on the road and see a figure in a light dress waiting on the shoulder. And so, the legend of the Phantom Hitchhiker BR 364 lives on, fueled by testimonies from those who swear they aren't making it up. Maybe it's just the imagination, the effect of exhaustion, or a trick of light and shadow. Or maybe it's something the road refuses to let die. Estrada 47 is a secondary route in the countryside of Minas Gerais, connecting small towns and cutting through areas of dense forest. By day, it's charming, with views of green hills, old bridges, and villages with colonial houses. But at night, the scenery changes completely. Darkness takes over, and the sound of the forest become more present than the car's engine. Marina, a 27-year-old photographer, was on her way to a job in Diamantina. She had spent the entire day photographing an event in Belo Horizonte and decided to travel at night to arrive early. Her car had a modern GPS she trusted completely to show the best route. Everything was going smoothly until, near the turnoff to Estrada 47, the GPS recalculated her route. "Alternative route found. Say 15 minutes," said the robotic voice. Marina hesitated. She had heard the road wasn't recommended at night, but the promise of saving time convinced her. The asphalt soon gave way to dirt, flanked by trees so dense they blocked the moonlight. The GPS seemed certain, giving precise turns and distances. After a few kilometers, she began to notice something strange. The GPS voice seemed different, still mechanical, but deeper, with a tone almost human. "Continue straight for 2 kilometers. Do not stop." Marina frowned. She didn't remember this intonation before. She glanced at the device and saw the screen was darker, with the map's outline slightly distorted. She assumed it was just poor signal, but kept going. The road narrowed, with branches brushing the car's roof. The feeling of isolation grew with every turn. Then the GPS announced, "Turn right." To the right, there was only a narrow trail covered with leaves, with a broken fence beside it. Marina stopped. "No, this is wrong," she muttered. That's when the GPS spoke again, without any robotic tone. "Trust me, Marina." Her panic surged. The device knew her name. She looked at her phone to check her location, but there was no signal. The radio began to hiss, emitting a low, irregular noise. She backed up to return to the main road, but the GPS recalculated, route adjusted, turned left in 50 meters. To the left was a clearing. Afraid, Marina accelerated to try to reach the main road, but as she entered the clearing, she saw something that made her slam the brakes. An abandoned car, partially covered with leaves and rust. In the driver's seat, a motionless shadow seemed to be watching her. She couldn't see its features, but she felt its stare. The GPS then said calmly, "You have reached your destination." Marina quickly turned around and sped back along the dirt path. The GPS shouted erratic instructions, repeating her name at irregular intervals. It only stopped when she reached asphalt, where the device rebooted on its own and returned to its normal robotic voice. Days later, telling the story to a local, she learned that the abandoned car had been there for over 5 years. It belonged to a man who vanished after following a GPS's faster route. In the middle of the night, his body was never found. Marina sold her GPS days later and never again trusted nighttime route suggestions. Today, she says she'd rather get lost with paper map than hear a voice call her name in the dark again. Estrada 47 is still avoided by experienced travelers, though the curious still try for thrills. Some return with only strange stories about GPS failures. Others, well, some never return. The Whisper Bridge lies on a state highway cutting through a sparsely populated rural area, known for its accidents and dark legends. Over the years, drivers and pedestrians began reporting inexplicable events there, making it one of the most feared spots for nighttime travel. It's said that decades ago, a school bus plunged off the bridge on a stormy night, taking dozens of children with it. The accident was devastating, and many believe the voices and whispers along the road are echoes of that tragic event. The first account comes from Joao, a truck driver who used to cross the bridge every night. On one such night, while driving alone, he clearly heard someone calling his name repeatedly. He looked around but saw no one. The voices seemed to come from all directions, wrapping him in panic. Trying to stay calm, he accelerated, but not before seeing a white figure standing in the middle of the road, disappearing as he approached. Another case was Maria's, who was walking along the road after visiting family. She felt someone watching her and suddenly heard her name whispered in a soft, sad voice. She ran without looking back and swore never to pass there at night again. Lastly, there's the story of Marcos, a police officer who decided to investigate after hearing so many tales. One night on duty, he recorded cries and calls for help on his radio that didn't match any real incident. The sound seemed to come from the bridge itself, but when he checked, no one was there. The pull to walk toward the edge was so strong, he had to leave to regain his composure. These accounts have built the reputation of the Whisper Bridge, a place where many feel the voices of the past never fell silent. Some believe it calls out to those alone on the road, trying to lead them to an unknown fate. Through these stories, we see that nighttime roads hold more than simple routes. They carry deep memories full of mysteries and sensations that defy reason. The Phantom Hitchhiker BR 364, the enigmatic GPS of Estrada 47, and the whispers of the bridge show how seemingly ordinary places can hide stories that chill even the most skeptical. Each account invites us to think of the road not just as a physical path, but as a space where time, fear, and the unknown intertwine. Perhaps these phenomena are remnants of tragedies that happened there, or manifestations the road itself insists on keeping alive, as if it doesn't want to be forgotten. If you've ever driven at night, you know that silence and darkness can completely change the experience. The headlights illuminate only part of the way, and the rest remains in shadow, where anything can happen. These stories make us wonder, how many other roads have their own memories, waiting to be discovered? How often do we forget the respect these places deserve? And maybe the next time you're alone behind the wheel, driving under the night's cloak, you'll realize the road around you isn't as empty as it seems. That there's something there, invisible and silent, watching and waiting. Now that you've heard these 3 real stories of roads no one wants to cross at night, I want to know, which one got to you the most? Which of these roads would you never dare face alone? Leave your comment below and share this video with someone who drives a lot, especially at night. After all, knowing these stories could be what separates a safe trip from an unexpected encounter with the unknown. And if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss the next videos. Because in the next episode, we'll show 3 security cameras that capture the impossible, images that to this day defy explanation. Stay alert, because what you'll see may forever change what you believe about the world around us. Until next time, and safe travels, but be careful on dark roads.